So then we had Jericho and Twinkle Toes against Tega Shit and Kyle Fletcher.
Takeshita.
With Don Fallis on color.
Don Fallis.
And I wrote no way. Guess which pony they beat? Fletcher. One of these things is not like the other. Tell me about the match I missed before we talk about the afterbirth.
It was nothing I guess you would want to watch, so nothing you would enjoy. I think Omega's looking really rough in there. I mean, he still could do a lot of stuff, but watching him move around physically, it looks like he's in a lot of pain. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like.
Well, I'm in a lot of pain watching him move around, so...
I love Takeshita. He's got size, he's got presence in there, he delivers his stuff. That's all I got to say about the match.
And he looks like a star, and he's going to be buried in all of this blah. But anyway, as soon as the babyfaces had won, guess who hit the ring? Powerhouse Hobbs, and beat the shit out of Jericho and Harpo. And I'm thinking, well, this is great. He's away from QT. He's involved in mostly main event people. It wasn't, Fletcher was not supposed to be involved in this. At least they're doing something with him, right? But then, because they cannot make a point. They cannot do something and be done with it. It has to be a goddamn major motion picture production that kills the whole fucking thing. They threw Twinkle Toes over the railing into the empty section of ringside that's sitting there at every fucking TV taping. Did you notice that? Somehow, there were 4 rows of about 4 or 5 chairs across, totally empty, that Omega could land in.
Well, if you see the side opposite the camera, it's not surprising there'd be empty seats.
Well, but no, this was from the front row on back. They actually cleared out a section of seats in plain view of the people so that somehow Kenny could be deposited there totally by chance moments later. And then it was already going too long. Hobbs should have come in, kicked the shit out of both of them, sidelined Jericho like they did, and then done some damage to Harpo or held him for Callis to do it, whatever their point was, and then got out of there. And they would have made a strong point and an impact and an impression.
You're saying it already went too long by the time he threw him over the barricade, right?
It's already, they're out of the ring. What are they doing? They're wandering around at a snail's pace out on the floor now with this thing, and nobody's coming to help. And the announcers are saying that, well, Maddie Jackson went with Nikki Jackson to the hospital after his match, and Hangnail Page isn't here, so Kenny's all alone. Except for the 80 other wrestlers on the roster and about 10 referees and a bunch of security guys and some doctors. He was completely by himself. No, they're not even ringing the bell. 4 heels have just decided that they're going to trash the most important people in the company, but there's no urgency. There's no danger. There's nobody trying to stop it. So then they're out there. Explain to me what Hobbs was doing with the bicycle rack guardrail. He stuck Kenny's head in between the spokes of the guardrail and then took it off of him again.
And again, if you looked at the guardrail, to me, the first thing I noticed when he went for it, I'm like, well, it's weird. There's one spot there where it's like there's an extra space.
But no, he pulled one of the spokes out.
Oh, I didn't even see that, but I noticed the extra space. I'm like, okay, that's where he's going to put his head.
He pulled one of the spokes out and had a metal rod in his hand and an opponent at his feet. And instead of just beating him with the metal rod, he threw the rod down and stuck the guy's head in the rail.
And then Kenny held it there to his throat because Hobbs was ready to move on.
Yes. And then he took it off, and then they went back to the ring. And where they're trying to duct tape Kenny to the rope spread out like he's on the cross, but they couldn't work the duct tape. Eventually, they got it, I guess, good enough, but it was loose on one side, and the roll was still attached on the other side. And then Don Fallis insists on taking the chair and hitting Kenny over the head with it. And it was a stiff shot, but it wasn't dangerous. And I saw on the internet everybody, oh my God, an unprotected chair shot. How dare they? And that fucking little goddamn pansy-ass fucking sock-faced piece of shit on commentary, I'm fed up with that motherfucker too. He's got, well, this is an era of wrestling that we thought and hoped was over. Yeah, because you're a soft little pussy, you fucking gutless prick. Point is... Point is...
And Shivani sucks too.
Yeah. Everybody was upset. He hit him in the head one time with a stiff and not dangerous shot with a chair. It wasn't ECW-like, and that's why they had Don do it. They were going to have Hobbs do it. And if this had been a good angle, it would have been worth it. That's what they should have done. Hobbs should have hit the ring, spine-bustered the motherfucker, taped him to the ropes, and let Don hit him with a chair. And then Don hold Hobbs' hand up in the air. But instead, we got this goddamn outlaw indie-rific bunch of bullshit. So if it had been a good angle, the chair shot was worth it. Since this whole thing stunk the joint out, it was the shits anyway. But I'm glad that Hobbs is away from QT.
And it went forever. And when they were on the other side of the barricade where the fans are, the fans just stood there and watched. No one was really upset about it. They were just, oh, this is what's happening now. They couldn't get the duct tape to work. Even the commentators had to say, he's trying to get Callis' attention and duct tape won't stay.
Yeah.
It was so
Jim,
bad.
It won't stick.
This episode was just filled with bad ideas that people convinced themselves were good ideas. We'll see about Hobbs with Callis. Hobbs and Takeshita together is very interesting in a stable. But, Callis kind of sucks. But we'll see what happens.
Grading on a curve, if we could get Don Fallis together with Take a Shit and Powerhouse Hobbs and keep out the miscellaneous foreigners that keep bopping in and out because they don't live here and there's no continuity to them.
Aussie!
Yeah, you might be able to concentrate and get a couple of these heels over. But nevertheless, at this point in the show, and we were not over yet, I was thinking, how and what type...
Some never got over.
What type of steps can I take to try to understand what's going on here? Because it's inexplicable to the ordinary mind. And I thought, maybe, do I need more sleep? Do I need to be able to focus and concentrate on this better to try to figure out this conundrum, this puzzle, this riddle that is being placed in front of me, make sense out of this program? And then I realized, yes, CBD. Because if the people presenting you something are on THC, you need to be on the CBD to counter it. And folks, our friends at CB Distillery can lead you down the right path of that because they have not only a full range of carefully formulated CBD and other plant-based solutions to your problems, but it's 100% clean ingredients, no artificial flavors, no colors, no preservatives, no cow pies, no manure, no mud, no rat droppings, clean ingredients. Because after all, 90% of the customers report better sleep with CBD. 81% say CBD helps with stress and anxiety. 80% report less pain after physical activity. And 2.1% report changing their identity and moving to Guatemala.
No.
And you can do these type of things too.
Except that, which is not something that people voted for on the survey.
Well, but you're entirely entitled to do it if you want to. Well, and you can take your CBD products along with you.
Well, yeah, I guess technically that part is true, yes.
Well, yeah, so you got 2 million satisfied customers. Not all of them are living in Guatemala, but all of them can tell you that CBD has helped them with their focus and concentration and figuring out these incredible problems. It's like a Gordian knot of bad booking. Just take a bunch of CBD and you'll be as smart as Tony Khan. Well, that might not be a selling point.
Yeah, I don't know if I would use that.
How about this? If you're frustrated with a health concern that's not getting any better or a pro wrestling show you're watching that's getting worse, then try CBD. How about that?
That works.
Okay, well then in that case, you need to save some money, folks. Tell you what I'm going to do. just because I like you, I'm going to get you 20% off. You know, Mama Cornette used to say, just because I like you, I'm going to give you 20% off. You got to go to cbdistillery.com right now and enter my code, JCE, for that 20% discount. cbdistillery.com, promo code JCE, 20% off everything on the site, and there's no prescription required. You don't even have to forge anything or find somebody in your immediate family that has handwriting that looks like a physician's. You can just order with impunity. cbdistillery.com, promo code JCE, 20% off. And I'm telling you, you're gonna love this stuff because you'll be able to hear colors, you'll be able to see musical notes floating in the air, and you'll be able to understand AEW wrestling.
None of that is guaranteed, and none of that is really likely. However, you will get a good night's sleep if that is what you need. Help from some of the sores and aches and various other things. Well, not sores, aches and pains, but I don't want to go as far as pain. Aches and achy areas, whatever it may be, let's focus on a good night's sleep. CB Distillery, what's the promo code, Jim?
That's JCE, but if you've got open sores, you might better go elsewhere. All righty then, we're back to AEW.
Aussie Open sores.
Oh, very good. I'm a little sore about Aussie Open.